Hi there, this is Ryan from Android in Canada, and this is my review of the Sony Xperia S. Had this for a few days now, and really nice little phone, I must admit. So let's compare it to size of the Galaxy Nexus. That tends to be what most people want to sort of see. So a 4.3 inch screen versus a Samsung Galaxy Nexus 4.6 inch screen. Marginal difference. So now, aside from the screen, let's talk about the build of the phone. What do we have on it? We have a little connection there for like dongles or whatever those key fob thingies are. And that comes from the fact that there's a little strip there that you can see through. And we'll get to that later. We have our mini USB port connection. We have our headphone connection power, mini HDMI, volume rocker, and a camera button, which I'll get to later as well. For the cover connectors, I wish they would ever get back to the way that Captivate had. They have these little flimsy connectors, and you have to pull them out just right so you can get the actual cord in there. I probably would just rip these off in no time flat. So I'm not a fan of that, but that's that. In terms of the back, it just supposed to slide up. There we go. And then we have no battery option, right? It's all fixed in. No micro SD support either. But then again, you have 32 gigs space in there, so you should have plenty of space. Okay. So that's sort of the build. Now let's talk about the Sony sort of experience. Let's go back to the build of it. We talked about the display is very nice. I like it. The glass, I'm noticing there's a little bit of a scratch already. I've got some on there. That's only from very few days worth sort of use, and I really don't use it that often, or especially in a dangerous kind of a way. So I don't know if it's just there's just a film on here that is scratched, and you're going to replace that. But again, not a fan of how that works. That kind of gets me scared. Okay, so we talked about that. So back to the UI. Sony's UI on top of their phones is really nice, very animated. I really like these widgets that sort of pop out and do something with it. Boom, boom, boom. You know. Oops, go back out. You have some cool little features there as well. Yeah, and that's something I want to talk about, these little buttons. So again, you have these neat little light strip down there. That's really kind of cool. You end up thinking the buttons are right there, but it's actually slightly above. So, and I find that not often am I hitting the button properly to get it. So it takes me a little while to get it used to it. Well, that very kind of neat feel. Again, a lot of cool widgets. Very animated kind of feel to it. I have that nice little animation in the background of this. It's all very fluid, very fast. No sort of lag unless you really, really, really run it down. Okay, so and then it's running Android 2.3.7, and even though it's still gingerbread, Sony gives you an option to take screenshots right from the power button, which is a nice little option and something I'll use heavily when in my review. Also with the display, and something with, I don't know if Sony totally forgot to put this in or whatever, if I go into display, there is no option for brightness. It's just sort of always on high, which is kind of weird. I mean, but then again, I haven't really noticed the battery power being really, draining. I can put it on low, put it on high, but no auto kind of setting. Also, Sony's included their keyboard on top of this thing here. It's got a neat little, sort of swiping option to it. But what's really lacking is the fact that if I want to do numbers, I have to the number, and go back. Especially so when I've got passwords that have number, letter, or postal codes, you'd have to go back and forth so often. It just kind of really be a pain in the butt. The custom email app that they have is really kind of nice. I like the ability to slide the preview pane around. Not overly useful, but again, something that's kind of cool. Just makes it easier to use for a lot of people. Now, something they really tout is the camera app. The camera app actually has that button. You can just hold down that button to bring you right into the camera app right away. And go ahead and take a picture. Right. So a very simple camera app, nothing exciting, fancy about it that you might notice. I'll post some sample shots later, but what's really kind of cool is the fact that the shutter button gives you that sort of half touch for a focus and then full button for a picture. So you have to sort of rethink back to actual camera days and using it. You also have some multi-angle 3D pictures you can do, so yeah, and that's one thing I've noticed with the camera. It doesn't do a very good job of focusing. I really miss that sort of touch to focus you would get on other cameras. So you can take that and you can take a sweep of a picture and it'll show off 3D. Now here's an example of what, I don't know if you guys can see that so well, but sort of the angles changing of those guys there. So again, a novelty feature, whether you'd actually use it or not. Maybe if you had a 3D TV and you really wanted to show some cool stuff off, maybe, but I don't really see it as something I would really hunt for in my camera phone. Other than that, the battery life has been decent. Up against the Galaxy Nexus, I would say about on par. Not too bad. I can't really say it's sucks, but then I've also got a fair number of widgets all playing on it. The only thing that really sucks about this phone is that Rogers really puts a lot of their junk on it. So 1, 2 apps there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 apps automatically from Rogers that you'd have to root and get rid of, but that's just me. Okay, so I'll cover some more of the stats and specs and other sort of features about the phone in the article. So thanks for watching and keep reading. Bye.